What is up, everybody? Star Wars Dad back for another quick thought. Today we're going to be looking at the new Fennec leader, which is the first leader from the new set that I'm just like super pumped about. I think this leader is incredible. Action 1, play a unit that costs 4 or less from your hand, giving it ambush for this phase. So essentially, we have 34 units in this deck that can be given ambush immediately with Fennec's ability. And then we have Poe Dameron, which is a nutty card. 1 copy of Black 1 in the main, and 2 Wreckers as our top end spells. But we have 3 Sneak Attack so that we can maximize those cards to close the game out, as well as use Sneak Attack for other units in the deck if we need to. So let's get into the list real quick. So this is a starting point. This is by no means perfected, obviously, because the new set is not out yet, but I got super excited when I saw this leader and I immediately wanted to build a list for it. And I paired it with red because now everything has ambush. Essentially, every card in the deck can ECL in. So let's just say that one more time. Every single card in the deck can ECL in, whether it's with Fennec's ability or with Sneak Attack. So that, to me, means this deck is nuts. That's what made Sabine Green the best aggro deck to start off as the game started, was just ECL. So imagine just being able at any point in time to bring in any of these units to deal with something that's a problem, as well as just to close the game out, because some of these units have overwhelm, like K2SO or Wrecker. You can essentially ambush in K2SO 3 different times in a game, which you could kill a thing, cause K2SO to die, or keep it on the board, and then do 3 more damage to their face. So this deck's going to be nuts. So let's start off with the one resource units, which I think are also incredible. So now we have Greedo plus Cartel Turncoat. So that's a great turn 1 play, is both of those units, or 2 Cartel Turncoats, because it is not a unique unit. Our opponent does get to draw a card, but do we care? No, we do not care. Another great turn 1 play is Leia. Get an extra resource and play either Greedo or Cartel, which you were already doing before, but now you have 6 1 resource units. So that is a play that's going to happen a lot more frequently. Play a ton of cheap units in this deck. 6, 9, 11, 14, 17, 19 of these units can be played on turn 1. Or 19 of these cards in the deck can be played on turn 1, essentially. We still have red 3, because most everything except Greedo in this deck has the heroic symbol on it. You do notice that there is no Fleet Lieutenant and there is no Wing Leader, and that's because we are getting more and more away from Rebel cards, because we're playing more of the Cunning aspect cards in this deck. So again, that may change. There's still a lot of cards that are yet to be spoiled, so there could be even more cards for this deck that change the outlook, but right now this is a good starting point. Another sweet card other than some of the standard cards is the Ketsu Onyo, or when it does combat damage, it defeats a upgrade, so you can like defeat shields or other upgrades, because there's gonna be a lot more upgrades in this next set. Then we have 2 copies of the L337. This may end up being 3 copies. It just really depends on how relevant the capture mechanic is to the metagame. So like if there are decks that play a lot of the capture mechanic cards in them, so if there are, then I'm definitely bumping that card up to 3. As of right now, it's at 2, but that could a lot of things could change, but that is definitely one that is going to be on the radar right away. Then we play 3 Ezra. So ambushing in an Ezra is really sweet because it can kill a lot of things: Battlefield Marine, Fleet Lieutenant, Sabine, whatever. And then it gets to complete an attack, and you can play a card from your deck immediately on top of ambushing in and killing a thing with Ezra, potentially. Or at the very least see what the top card of your deck is, which is awesome. And then probably survive another turn, most likely, because of its big butt. Ezra also has a little bit of synergy with Poe Dameron, because we don't have to use cards from our hand later in the game when we want to attack him with Poe, so that we can use those cards to discard with Poe. We're still doing the 3 Falcon, the 3 Rogue Operative, 3 K2SO. Again, I already spoke about K2SO. It gets even better now because you can ambush it 3 times in a game. Poe Dameron, I think, is nutty. I think it is going to be one of those cards that might need to just be a 3rd copy. Just being able to sneak attack it in for 4 resources is insane. To swing in for 8 damage. So I sneak attack a Poe, discard a card from my hand, do 2 more damage to their base, and I swing in for 8 damage to win the game. I mean, that might just need to be 3 copies. We'll see. Again, testing. But Poe is just an amazing card. Like, it, you know, each card you discard from your hand, you get to choose a different option each time. So on the attack, so you're dealing 2 damage to their base, most likely, or to a unit, potentially. You're defeating an upgrade, so a shield, potentially. And an opponent has to discard a random card from their hand. So this card is good against everything. It's good against aggro to close the game out. It's good against aggro because it's a 5 resource 6/6 that you can sneak attack in. It's good against control because you can do more damage to their face, and you can also cause them to discard a card at the same time. I mean, this card's nuts. I think it's going to be one of the best cards from the new set. We have 1 black 1 in here, just to kind of replenish our hand, kind of like we were already doing in Blonde Sabine, just to make sure we keep our foot on the gas pedal, but it also has great synergy with Poe to replenish our hand to attack in with Poe right afterwards, and then discard those cards to do things with Poe if we want to. We also play 1 black 1 in the sideboard to bring in against mid-range and control. And we also play 2 Zori Bliss in the sideboard. I was going back and forth with putting Zori Bliss in the main board. I think it's going to be a card that I want to have more in the mid-range control matchups. I don't think I really need it in the aggro matchups. But I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, and that might completely change. So, definitely let me know your thoughts on Poe and Black 1 and Zori Bliss, and how if you tested those cards out and where you feel, because I'd like to know if you've tested it more than I have. This is just theory crafting, so we're just trying to come up with a starting point to play this amazingly fun deck. And then 2 Wreckers. Again, sneak attack with a Wrecker is insane. Sneak attack for 5 resources. To play Wrecker, swing in, it can get rid of a resource to do 5 damage to a ground unit. Then we can either just go to their face for 7 damage with Wrecker, or we can kill something, overwhelm it, and still do damage to their face and kill 2 units. So just a nutty card. Poe and Wrecker are so much fun. This is actually one of the coolest aggro decks that I've seen in any game, any card game. And I've been playing card games for 30 years. This deck looks like so much fun. I typically don't even like aggro, but I think this is going to be a fun one. But definitely let me know your thoughts and some cards that you tried out, or some ways that you think the Fennec leader could work. Definitely let me know what you think. I love to kind of theory craft and figure out ways to make great deck lists and the most optimal list. So definitely let me know what you think, and any feedback is much appreciated. But as always, y'all have a good one, and peace.